let's start with what I think I'm right in saying this, because whenever I turn on LinkedIn and look at my feed, this is always the top post. And there's a few people that tend to always be the top post as well, which is interesting. Yourself, Josh Braun, Dave from Privy, whatever. Maybe I've clicked on these posts. Maybe I've engaged with you guys more than other people. But you and these other individuals seem to always have a text post at the top of my feed that gets a ton of attention. So our text posts the starting point for our content. Is that the easiest way to get engagement on LinkedIn?
I think it's a great starting point, Will. Text posts have been for the last 2 years and probably will continue to be one of the, if not maybe the strongest performing form of content. LinkedIn has always been a sort of a reading platform. I don't know if you remember when I started using it properly about 8 years ago, it all revolved around articles. Their whole thing revolved around articles. Now that kind of died out as they pushed other more consumable forms of content, but text reading type story posts definitely are at the heart of LinkedIn. So yeah, they perform really well, and we'll cover video in a minute, but I definitely think there's more results in all areas with text posts, more visibility, more engagement, more reach, and more ROI.
Now, this is a topic in its own right, and maybe we'll do this in the future because I'm fascinated by this, and this leans on kind of teaching and learning design. And there's a book I always recommend on this subject called, I think it's called Explainer, and we'll cover that perhaps in a second or in a future episode. But is there a structure to creating these text posts? Because clearly we can't just throw up some nonsense and expect to have thousands of likes on, like what I've had on a few of my posts. I know you had on a whole bunch of yours, Daniel. Is there a formula for success here? Can you share your secrets with us?
Of course, that's why I'm here, Will. That's why we've put this show together. So with text posts, a couple of top tips. Number one, you get a 1,300 character limit. And there are two types of text posts in reality: short form and long form. I made up these terms, by the way. Short form is where you get like one sentence, maybe a couple of sentences. They're small text posts. And then long form is what I refer to when they use most, if not all, of those characters that you get, the 1,300 characters. Long form text posts have ruled for the last sort of 2 years. So those long stories, people set the scene. It is a story, start, middle, and end. They set the scene, they take you through a journey, they have a nice, inspiring or debate-provoking end, and built to kind of give value but also drive good engagement. What I'm seeing this year and 2021, this is certainly a newer trend, are the shorter posts are starting to gain traction, but I give a word of warning: you need to earn the sort of right to be able to do short posts. So I'll give you an example, Will. There is a very famous sales author. I'm going to do that thing where I tease it and then I'm not going to name names again.
Last time you did this, Daniel, I got maybe 5-6 people afterwards begging me to know who it was. So I just referred them all back to you. Said Daniel wants to share it, he can do.
That's fine. Anyway, I might do it in a one-to-one basis. Anyway, there's a very famous sales author who came onto LinkedIn, tons of books, huge name. But when they came onto LinkedIn, all they started doing was sharing short form text posts. But because they had no brand, they had no presence, and they had no audience on LinkedIn, those text posts didn't perform well. So they kind of flipped the process, put more value giving longer text posts up front, built an audience, built a brand. Then when they started going back to doing those short ones, they were getting the traction. So I feel like you need to earn that sort of place to be able to do shorter posts. You need to give more value up front before you can get away with doing those shorter posts. But those are your two types of text posts: 1,300 characters, tell a good story. And two biggest tips that I can't stress enough. Number one, you only see the first 3 lines in your feed. So those 3 lines need to stand out. That's your hook. If they're not interesting, if they're not exciting, no one's going to click and open and read the rest of it. So have a good opener. The next important one, and everyone will hopefully resonate with this, you need to have those spaces between the sentences. Remember, we are scrolling, whether it's our laptops, whether it's our phones, we are scrolling, and those spaces help make it a lot more engaging.